How are we doing? Nobody's not feeling anything? Are we okay? Are we good? Well, I'm a bit sick, so you'll have to listen to the message of the song and not the voice, okay? And I want to tell you why I picked this song as well, because this song is called Show Me How to Love. And we're here about men's mental health, right? So we want Jesus to show us how to love properly. You didn't have to leave the glory of heaven, but you became a simple man. You didn't have to serve the poor and afflicted, but you touched and healed their brokenness. No greater love has been given. You became the ultimate sacrifice, creating me the heart of a servant. May this be my soul's desire. Show me how to love in the true meaning of the word. Teach me to sacrifice, expecting nothing in return. I want to give my life away, becoming more like you each and every day. My words are not enough. Please show me how to love. I saw a poor and tattered woman with her hungry children on the street. Then I heard you say in that still small voice, what have you done to deserve the least of these? Lord, consume me with a burning fire that melts away my complacencies. Let me be moved with love and compassion, that someone may find a way in me. Show me how to love in the true meaning of the word. Teach me to sacrifice, expecting nothing in return. I want to give my life away, becoming more like you each and every day. My words are not enough. Please show me how to love. Lord, open up mine eyes that I might really see more and more of you and less of me. By loving the unlovable and touching the untouchable, may my actions speak louder than my words. Show me how to love in the true meaning of the word. Teach me to sacrifice, expecting nothing in return. I want to give my life away, becoming more like you each and every day. My words are not enough. Please show me how to love. Our words are not enough. Please show us how to love.
What a wonderful song. Thank you very much, Miss Emily. Continuing with the mood of worship, I will now ask for a short prayer from one Tiana Levy. Tiana Levy.
Good afternoon, everyone. 3 John 1 verse 2 says, Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us together for this important program. Today, we lift up the mental health of or the men around us in our lives, in our society, here at this event. And Lord, as we gather to discuss and share experiences and to encourage each other and empower each other, I pray, oh God, that we will look up to you and realize that our health, mental or otherwise, comes from you first and foremost. So as we discuss today, as we learn, as we grow, and as we choose, oh God, to be victorious in this mental health that we're talking about, that, Lord, we will realize that our strength and everything else comes from you. Be with the program. Be with those that are attending, sitting here in the audience today. Be with those that are online. And may each person, each participant be blessed, encouraged. We thank you for hearing us this afternoon. We thank you too, oh God, that there is hope that you will attend to our prayers. We pray this prayer and ask you to bless it. In your name we say, amen.
Amen, amen, amen. I will now officially welcome one and all to our community convo brought to you by the NCU DCS group as a part of our annual week of excellence. The theme, as we have understood, is men's mental health. My name is Akil Vassel and I am your host for today. First of all, I want to acknowledge our sponsors who made this event possible. So a good amount of them. Firstly, Mandeville Spa and Wellness Resort, located in Hatfield, Manchester. Irville's Supermarket, located at Mandeville Road, 30 Mandeville Road. Mid-Island Cesspool, located at New Wales, Manchester. Gateway Pharmacy at 3A Caledonia Road. 3T Restaurant at 17 Mandeville Plaza. D&B Auto. And special thanks to OB Decorating. Thank you very much for listening to the sponsors. And now I will bring forward, NCU's very own Debbie Ann Daly Johnson to give the welcome and opening remarks. Give her a warm welcome, please. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. And good afternoon, listeners online, viewers online. Welcome to this very important Community Convo Town Hall meeting, the second event of the Department of Communication Studies Week of Excellence. Today, we gather to shine a light on a matter that is urgent, real, and too often ignored: men's mental health and the stigma of seeking help. Far too many of our men and boys are suffering in silence. Too many are carrying emotional pain, pressure, fear, disappointments, and struggle without feeling safe enough to speak, without feeling free enough to ask for help, and without believing that anyone truly understands. Far too long, society has told men that they must always be strong, always be tough, never let their guards down. But today, we want to challenge that thinking. We want to make it clear that seeking help is not a weakness, it is a strength. It is courage, it is wisdom. This afternoon, we gather to create a safe space for honest conversation, deeper understanding, and healing. We gather in the hope that through this discussion, lives can be encouraged, minds can be changed, and the stigma can begin to break. We hope that today's discussion will challenge harmful stereotypes, encourage empathy, and remind every man and boy here that it is okay to speak up. It is okay to ask for help. It is okay not to be okay. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting this initiative, and thank you for helping us stand with our men and boys. Welcome, and may this conversation be impactful, healing, and empowering to all.
Well, no doubt we all feel welcomed by that, the men especially. Thank you very much, Miss Daly Johnson. I will now be introducing our keynote speaker. All of our panelists today are extremely accomplished men, young men alike, and our keynote speaker is no different. Mr. Dane Thomas is a pharmacist with over 20 years of experience, a graduate from UTech School of Pharmacy, owns and operates his own pharmacy, Gateway Pharmacy in Mandeville. He's an accomplished author and a host for the Hold a Meds feature on Mellow FM 88.1. Give him a warm welcome, please.
All right, thank you very much for that warm welcome. I almost couldn't come through here because I look like I've put on too much pounds, which is going to affect my mental health. But I'll work on it though. It's really an honor and a privilege to be here to share with you about mental health. And being a pharmacist, it is something that we see happen in the pharmacy very often, or in terms of care for these kind of patients. In October will be celebrated as Mental Health Awareness Month in Jamaica. It was previously in May, but nonetheless, still a good time. It's always a good time to talk about mental health. So today, I would like to use this opportunity to speak to us and in a frank way, bringing information to those who are here and those who are following online. All right? All right, you can go to you can go now to the slides. Thank you. You can go ahead with the slides now, please. All right, so the objectives for today, for this presentation, is not a lot, but we'll try to get through with them as much as possible. So the first objective is to understand what is mental health. All right, that's the first objective. The second objective is to understand the importance of mental health. The third objective is to attempt to break the stigma that prevent men from seeking help. And fourth objective is to identify different ways in which we can help. All right? So there's more that we can talk about. However, for this evening's presentation, we will try to meet these objectives for this evening. All right? All right, so let's continue. While our team work out the logistics in getting the presentation on screen, that you can also follow the presentation and take your own notes. So it's very good that we have this information that you can also share the information with other persons that they will be able to follow, and you can always educate. Oh no, HDMI. Just give us 1 second, please. having for today is to understand what is mental health, to understand the importance of men from seeking help, and to identify the different ways to help. All right. So before we go into it, let's answer these few questions. Who will live longer, men or women? The woman? I wonder why. I wonder why. I wonder why. Is it that the woman them stress out the man them? That's part of the problem, don't it? I don't think the women will agree, but nonetheless, let's continue. So who lives longer? Women on average 80 years. 80 years. Men 74 to 75 years. That's our average year, okay? All right. I'm 50, so I have 25 more years based on this average. All right. Women tend to visit. So one of the reasons for this is that women tend to visit their doctor more than men. And I see this very often. Being a pharmacist, most times is the woman that comes to the pharmacy for the men. And this is, men, when I disagree, it is the truth. A lot of times when females come to the pharmacy because somebody is sick, it's not because they are sick, it's because the man at home is sick or they have a friend who is sick. And they see it very often, all right? So the women tend to visit their doctors more than men. Men are risk takers. We take a lot of risk. And with the risk comes accident and all other things tend to happen, okay? Depression. Men are more on the scope or on to commit suicide because of depression. Heart disease. Men are more likely to die from heart disease, which is another reason why women live longer than men. And as I said earlier, we tend to avoid doctors. So men tend to avoid doctors. And because we always do this, men, is that we always try to let's wait it out or let's see what happens. And we don't go to the doctor unless we basically can't move. If we can't move, that's when you decide that you want to go to the doctor. But at this point, it's already gone too bad and you can't move. All right? So we tend to avoid doctors often. So these are some of the reasons why women live longer than men. All right. The leading cause of death in men, heart disease, as stated in the previous slide, cancer, especially prostate cancer, accident, as I stated earlier, we take greater risk, and a lot of men, we love to race our cars, especially if we drive fast cars, we love to race. True? The police is here now, they're not going to do anything. So if you admit it, I will admit that I used to love to race, but I stopped race now. I used to drive a fast car, but I stopped drive. I don't drive it anymore. I still drive a fast car, but I don't drive that fast anymore. So officer, if you see me driving fast, it's because I might be late for work or I'm having an emergency. So don't stop me, all right? All right. Stroke is another cause of death, a leading cause of death in men. Respiratory diseases, we smoke and all of these things, so that will lead us to cause respiratory disease. Alzheimer's affects the brain, affects how you think, memory, and all of that. So men, we are more prone to getting Alzheimer's. Diabetes. Diabetes is another sickness or another cause of death in men. So we're on the scope. Men, we're on the scope. All right. So let's go now into mental health, mental illness. What is it? All right. Mental illness is a mental health condition that gets in the way of how we think, relate to others, and do our day-to-day functions. So this is generally what mental illness is. It's a mental health condition, and mental health conditions, there are many more than just, and which we will dissect a little bit more. Mental illness may include depression, anxiety disorder, bipolar disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, schizophrenia, and a lot more. I can't give you all of them, but I'll just give you a few that we might know of. And these are some mental illness conditions. Mental illness, no, let's look at this bullet. Now, we tend to think that we kind of stigmatize mental illness who it affects. It affects everybody. Mental illness affects the young and old, male and female, the educated and the uneducated, rich people and poor people. So basically, everybody is affected by mental illness. But the important thing is that it can be treated. All right? That is the most important thing. And I've always tell patients that if you're sick, if you have any condition, the good thing is that it can be treated. So having the condition is fine. But what is more important is that you can get treatment. If you can't get treatment, then that's when you should worry. All right? But the important thing is it can be treated. All right. What are some of the symptoms of mental illness? Feeling down for a while. So you're feeling down, you don't want to do anything. I'm not saying that if you have all of these symptoms, it means that you're having a mental health condition, but be aware of these symptoms. Feeling down for a while, extreme swings in moods, extreme mood swings. So you feel happy now, next minute you're sad. And it's like, if you want to call it yin-yang or like a pendulum, your mood just going like this all the time. But this is not a symptom or a sign of mental illness. Withdrawn from family, friends, activities. So if you just want to be by yourself, if you used to love to play football and you don't want to play football anymore, you play dominoes, hang out with your friends, if all of these you don't want to do them anymore, then these are some signs that you look for in mental illness. Anybody here play football? Are you good at it? Okay, I believe you. You're not good at it. Are you a Man U fan? Oh, okay. You're a basketball fan. All right, good. I'm a Liverpool fan. So for those others, you're supporting the wrong team. But anyways, withdrawn from the family, friends, and activities. Low energy, problem sleeping. The energy is low. You always want to drink Lucozade or you want to drink some Gatorade. Energy is low. Problem sleeping. That is a telling sign. You go to bed, you cannot sleep because there's so many things running through your head, so you're having problems sleeping. So these are another symptoms or sign of mental illness. Often feeling angry, hostile, or violent. Okay? So look out for these things. Feeling paranoid, hearing voices, having hallucinations. So you're hearing things going through your head. Somebody's talking to you. You don't know who's talking to you, but you're also talking to the person. These are some signs of mental illness. Often talking about death or suicide. Some telling signs of mental illness. So be careful. So look out for these things, okay? All right. So let's look at the stigma that comes with mental illness. And let's look at how we can break down this stigma and why do we have the stigma to mental illness. Okay, so stigma is when people think badly of you because of something that you see as negative. So you see somebody on the road and you think that you call him a madman or a madman that man, so we're not really business about him. I can give an experience that I had and it has never left me. I used to go to Ardenai School, the best school in Jamaica, best high school in Jamaica. If you didn't know, I'm just giving you the information now. But but I remember I had a friend, when you go into high school, you form bonds as teenagers. And I remember me and another friend, a couple of us, we went out. And when we went to the movies, when we came from the movies, we stopped at a gas station to just get some food and something to drink. And I saw one of my friends from high school. He was in my class at high school. and everybody see him as a madman. He was walking on the streets, half naked, dirty. I mean, it just, if I didn't know him, I would have called him a madman. But he was my classmate. He was in my class at high school. And he was standing outside the gas station. And I went over to him and I called him by his name. And he responded to me and said, Dane. And if you saw him, you wouldn't have gone to him. All right? But I saw him. I know him. He was in my class at high school. And I went to him and I called him by his name. And he said, Dane. And he started to have a conversation with me at the same time. Automatically, it's like, he's not a mad person to me. You understand? But you would have seen him as a mad person. Right? So when you start thinking negative about a situation, then the stigma starts. So if I didn't know him, I would have started stigmatizing him at the same time. Say, I'm a madman that. But because I knew him, I know him, and I spoke with him for about an hour at that same spot. And persons were walking past me wondering, why am I speaking to this madman? Even my friends who were with me, they were wondering, who am I speaking to? And while there, I gave him my number. I don't know why I gave him my number, but I a friend. Gave him my number. I said, listen, this is where I'm at. Come and see me. And I spoke with him. I was saying this, that it's so easy to form stigmas when we see persons on the road and we don't know what's behind it. False belief about mental illness can cause problems for people with mental health conditions. So when we start to create these belief systems, or these false belief systems, then it affects the person who needs the help. It can cause people with mental health condition not to seek help or treatment. So stigma is a very bad thing. It's not good to have stigmas when you don't know, especially when you don't know what's the situation behind that person. All right? So these persons will not get help. They will never get help because of what we think about them, and it's because of the stigma that we have towards these persons. And treatment is so important. It can lessen self-belief or self-esteem, causing people to believe that they can succeed or make life better. That's self-explanatory. It may make it difficult for family, friends, co-workers, and others to understand the condition. So if you say, boy, if I'm saying that, boy, your son is a madman, it creates problem for the family, for the other friends, and all the co-workers, and all that might know the person. So the condition will only get worse, and they won't get any help at all. So stigma on a whole, as you can see here, affects everything about mental illness, especially for treatment. It can make harder for people to find jobs. So people don't get job. You understand? Housing, you realize that a lot of persons who, quote unquote, we say is mad, where do you see them? On the road. All right? All right. So I've been talking a lot. So I'll give you one quick question, just to check you if you're thinking, and check your mental health, really. So Jamaica has 14 parishes, true? Okay, which parish is the largest parish in Jamaica? I'm going to give you some options. Is it Clarendon? Is it Manchester? Is it St. Elizabeth? Is it St. Anne? Is it St. Catherine? Anybody? Hold on. Somebody raise a hand and tell me. No, not somebody from the panel, somebody from the audience. Somebody can give me the answer. St. Anne? All right, come. I have a prize for you. Put your hands together for her. See? It pays to respond, don't it? I bet when I ask another question, everybody going to answer. All right. What size do you wear? Medium? All right, you have to put on some weight. This is small. You can lose some weight. All right, so that's a little shirt you can wear to go to the gym. No, I don't have any more questions. All right, let's get into it some more. Why is mental health important? It's very important. mental health is integral to the overall well-being, influencing how individuals think, feel, and act. So mental health is very, very important. So having good mental health is important. Mental health conditions imposes a high burden on almost all sections of the society, from the individuals who are affected to families, but also on the economy. Now, our economy is not in a good state, but mental health affects the economy, as those who suffer from mental disorders are more likely to work at reduced capacity and absent from work. So if you're not being treated, of course, if you go to work, you're not going to function to the best of your ability. And if you're not functioning to the best of your ability, then it will affect your output. Additionally, if you are not being treated properly, then you're not going to be at work. All right? So mental health affects these things. That's why having good mental health is so important. All right, take it to Jamaica. In Jamaica, around 3% of the population has a depressive disorder, whereas 4.1% has an anxiety disorder. So you see, Jamaica, we're on the scope also. We are in trouble. All right? Mental illness, and this part is very significant. Mental illness imposes a significant financial burden in Jamaica with this is a projection between 2015 to 2030. So it is estimated that we will lose 2.76 billion US dollars because of mental health problems if it is not treated now. So our mental health is very important. Now, apart from cardiovascular disease, mental health will be the most expensive treatment or problem that we have in Jamaica. All right? So that is why mental health is so important. So how do we break this stigma? We're doing it now. Education and awareness. That is first key in breaking the stigma to mental health. Share personal experiences. This also helps to break that stigma. Create supportive environments. Very important in breaking the stigma. Make sure you get treatment. Now, as a pharmacist, a lot of these medications for treating mental health is so expensive. It's one of the most expensive medications you will find in the pharmacy. But treatment is needed. Speak out against the stigma. Don't allow persons to speak badly. Let's get rid of the stigma. That's the only way we can break the stigma, if we speak out against it. And go wrap it up quickly. Let's look at the treatment of mental illness. What are the treatment? So the treatment depends on the type of mental illness you have. If it's severe and what works best for you. In many cases, a combination of treatment works best. So this combination will be determined by your physician, and that's the way we can treat it. We have psychiatric medications, but these don't cure mental illness. It don't cure it at all. But what it does, it improves the symptoms. So the symptoms that you may have, having been on the medications, it improves those symptoms. Okay, so yeah, different that we have like antidepressants. We also have anti-anxiety medications. We also have mood stabilizing medications and also antipsychotic medications. So these are some treatment in terms of medications that are available. But most importantly, psychotherapy. This is one of the most important ways to treat mental illness. Also called talk therapy, involves talking about your condition and related issues with a mental health professional. So while we have so many medications available to treat mental illness, psychotherapy is maybe the most important way to treat mental illness. Okay, I have one last question. Which is the longest river in Jamaica? All right, listen, all right, the bottom blurt it out. Is it the Black River? Is it the Yalas River? Is it the Rio Cobre? Is it the Rio Grande? Or is it the Rio Mino? Which one of them is the longest river in Jamaica? One somebody can just tell me, please. Huh? That is correct. The Rio Mino is the longest river in Jamaica. A lot of people think it's the Rio Grande, but it's not the Rio Grande. I'm sorry, it's not the longest river. The Rio Mino in Clarendon is the longest river in Jamaica, if you didn't know. All right? So, well, I did ask the longest river. So the longest river is in Jamaica is the Rio Mino in Clarendon. But you can come for your prize still now. I'd still give you a prize. You take that later. Cool, no problem. All right. Thank you very much, guys. I am Dean Thomas from Gateway Pharmacy. I hope you learned something today.
All right, give it up one more time for Mr. Dane Thomas, please, please, please. Oh, goodness. Whew. Informative presentation for us all. I do want to introduce an item by Mr. Brian Cuff, which will be followed by a video presentation. Brian Cuff. Mr. Brian Cuff. All right, bear with us for a moment. Okay, we're moving into the PTA presentation.
It's very good to be here this afternoon. Um, if you are worried that if it would be difficult to talk about how you feel, remember, you don't have to talk about everything you're experiencing all at once. You can start by just sharing a little bit of information and letting someone know that you need their support. Now, seeking help for mental health concern is an act of bravery. It takes courage to acknowledge that we are struggling and reach out for assistance. Now, many people fear judgment or feel ashamed about their mental health issue, which often leads to delay in seeking help. However, taking that first step towards seeking help is an act of self-empowerment and demonstrate a commitment to one's own well-being. Also, seeking help for mental health concern is not a sign of weakness, but rather a sign of strength. It takes strength to admit that we cannot handle everything on our own and that we need support. It shows self-awareness and courage to seek support during tough times. So on behalf of the Mayday High School Parents Teachers Association body, be encouraged to seek help for mental health health, which is a proactive step towards wellness. Reach out to someone you trust. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. It is always nice to hear the perspective of these kinds of things from both genders because their opinions are equal and such. Now we will have the item by Brian Koff, followed by the video presentation. Thank you very much.
Men shouldn't be mentioned when it relates.
All right, I'll just take this time out while our technical team is dealing with that to restate our different sponsors as they are the ones who made this event possible. Prestige Phone Accessories on Shop 17 Mandeville Plaza, Life Call Ambulance Service, which is a Jamaica-wide service, Flaming Walk, which is at Sovereign Center at Mandeville, EX Shopping, which is at Orange Plaza, Caledonia Road at Mandeville, Mandeville Spa and Wellness Resort, which is located at Hatfield, Manchester, Irville Supermarket, which is located at Manchester Road, Mandeville, Mid-Island Cesspool, which is located at New Wales, Manchester, Gateway Pharmacy, as mentioned before, which is located at 3A Caledonia Road, Mandeville, 3T Restaurant, which is located at 17 Mandeville Plaza, and DB Auto. And a special thanks for OB Decorating.
So we're taught to be independent, not realizing that dependence is strong. Asking for help instead of drowning in despair is a smile that we wear. So inside we implode and outside we cover it up like a pressure cooker pot, waiting to explode as we build up. Thinking we're tough, not realizing that this is rough, and if we continue this and every single stuff will cause us to explode, because we should seek help before it's too late. Seek help even while you wait. Seek help for problems small or great, because while you wait it may be too much weight that will weigh you down and cause you to frown. It's time for you to stop suffering in silence, thinking that it's only to be angry or sad, happy or sad. There are more emotions. Everything else we regulate it by. And the newscast becomes real sad when it says that man kills and then turns on himself while he could have asked for help. Or men are walking time bombs, sadly. But it's full time we blow up the truth and we pull out the roots and we make a change before it's too late. The leaders of our societies and the leaders of our homes live in minds that now roam. Then they explode. It's time to make a change, because if we don't take care of the present, there will be no future, and the future will look the same, causing more harm and full of blame game. It's time to rise up, it's time to stand, it's time for us to make a difference in this land. Men, it's time to open up and let the truth out. It's time for you to understand it's not just smile or pout. There is so much inside that needs to come out. There's so much that needs to be dealt with so that we become the better man. I hope I'm getting through to you. I hope you understand, because if not, it's not going to be a pretty land. It starts with you. Yes, that is true. As the leaders of the house, as the leaders of the land, it starts with you. So you have to fix you before you fix another. So I'm here to help and to call out to each of our brothers. Let us look inside and let us open our hearts and minds wide so that we can be helped before it's too late and before the problem becomes too great. Mental health, good mental health, is the best form of wealth.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Brian Cuff, for that digital item that you graced us with. We will now be starting the panel discussions. Questions will be open after, but before we officially start, I just want to give an introduction to our moderator for this evening, which is Mr. Nathan Roper. Give a warm welcome to Mr. Nathan Roper, please.
All right, hello everyone, good evening, good afternoon. I'm happy that you could make the time to be here, and I want to thank all of you and our guests, our panelists today, for taking the time out of their surely busy schedule to discuss something that I think is very important, and that is male mental health. So before we begin, I'd love if our panelists could first just take a moment to introduce themselves. Mr. Dane Thomas did already. Oh, and by the way, Mr. Thomas, I'm also an ardent student, so you're among friends. Do say Cora Optima. But I'd like if the rest of you could just take a moment to introduce yourselves. So we could start with you, Mr. Blake.
Yeah. Check one. All right. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lesan Blake. I'm here in the capacity of the executive director for Ombre Jamaica. Ombre meaning understanding male biases and redefining expectations. And I'm also a police officer, as you guys can see. I'm a youth leader and youth advocate. So functions like this is something that I try to be a part of as much as possible. And I'm happy to be here, and I just want to commend NCU and Mayday for putting something on like this.
All right. Testing 1, 2. Good afternoon, everybody. Owner Dona, all right? Wonderful, wonderful. The name is Ricardo Anthony Miller. I serve as the Youth Empowerment Officer for the Parish of Manchester with the Youth and Adolescent Policy Division in the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth, and Information. God bless you.
Mic check. Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone. Yes, my name is Dr. Nicholas Singh. I have started my own business, Gifted Hands Medical Services. I was predominantly in surgery before. However, I've come to general practice or family medicine to practice more preventative health because I've seen the end of the line and it's not pretty. So I'm now at the forefront trying to do what I can. And I appreciate forums like this because it's very important, and most of it is based off opinions, to be honest, and there are many challenges. It's very varied and myriad, so I'm very interested to see what this evening will lead to. So thank you very much for having me.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Paul Smith. I'm a clinical psychologist and the president of the Jamaican Psychological Society. I am enthused to be here this evening as a part of the discussion. Wherever we have discussion on men, I make myself available. I wish that I was seeing more men, though. Yeah, right? Some are online, I hope men are online. So good evening to our online folks. It's good to have you, but I look forward to the discourse this afternoon.
All right, thank you one and all. And now the introductions are out of the way. I think it is time that we get to the meat of the matter. And I'm going to begin by asking each of our panelists some varied questions about their background and get some insight. And I'm going to begin with you, Mr. Blake. I'm aware that you are here as an Ombre representative, but I see you in the police uniform. And so I have to ask, as a government agent, let's begin with you. Do you think that the government has done enough to address the concerns of male mental health?
All right, so there are things in place. I've seen several sessions happening, especially through like for youth I can speak for because I work closely with the Ministry of Youth through NYCJ. So I see several mental health stuff happening. There are programs put in place for even us as police officers, like early intervention programs. So if I'm at work and they see that I'm behaving in such a way where that's not normally how I behave, they have certain programs where they take us off work, they have us talk to professionals and see if we're okay and stuff. So there are things being done, and that's been done in other government agencies as well. But as relates to enough, there's always more that can be done. And I think the government could probably do more as it relates to breaking the stigma. So yes, they're doing initiatives and programs to kind of help persons, but I think the platform that the government has can be used more to educate persons. You know, social media, the government has a strong social media presence, so they can utilize that to kind of reach out to more persons and break. So I'd say they're doing things, but maybe more can be done.
All right, thank you. You mentioned that maybe more can be done and that the government does have some institutions in place. Now, when I was doing my own research, I realized that many people sometimes wish to seek out help, but don't know who to reach out to and where they can make contact. So do you have any agencies or numbers or groups that you think people can reach out to that they can contact and get some assistance from?
All right, so I don't know a lot of groups per se, but I can speak for the one I'm a part of, so Ombre Understanding Male Biases and Redefining Expectations. You can reach out to us. We're on Instagram and all the different social media platforms at Ombre. So what we will basically do is we create that space, you know, for males to feel safe and talk about their problems, and we have persons who are specialists or can actually recommend you to those specialists. There is also a line. I don't want to state around it, but the government has a line that persons can actually reach out to, because not everyone can afford can afford to pay for like a therapist or so. So there's a line. I'm going to check it on my phone shortly, but there's a line that you can reach out to. One for males and one for females. You can reach out if you're having any issues with like mental health.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, so Mr. Smith, I'm going to turn to you now, because the topic of youth was mentioned at length, and we are here regarding male mental health issues. But I want to talk about youth, the young youth males that are dealing with that. Why do you think, or do you think that they in particular are at risk? Like if you had to pick a certain interest group or demographic, would you say that young men are the most at risk for mental health?
Not the most at risk. Men are at risk. Yeah. It goes across demographics. Of course, young persons now, they might have different issues. I come across young persons who are being bullied on social media. That's an issue. Bullied at school. That's another issue. Young men who are prone to substance misuse and abuse. Young men who do not have the capacity at times or the resources to deal with broken relationships. Young men who think that the first option of dealing with an issue is committing suicide or having the ideations. But we find that these issues also go across the spectrum with men in general.
Okay, thank you. The topic of substance misuse was mentioned. And Mr. Thomas, you're a pharmacist, correct? So with that in mind, I'd like to ask you, what is your opinion on that issue? I know people often turn to drugs as a means of solving their problem or seeking relief.
Well, yeah, drugs is a good way to solve the problem, but be prescribed in the right way. So that's fine. But I guess they're talking about illicit drugs, drugs that is illegal. No, you know, that is a situation that occurs because persons don't have the support mechanism that is needed to help them to get over these situations. And I've seen it because, and I've spoken to persons already who are on the brink of having suicide or committing suicide. And also I have friends who have tried already to overdose themselves on particular medications because of mental health issues. Not only patients, but persons who I know personally. Now, that is definitely a concern. And while we have the medications that can help persons, but I firmly believe that a therapist is maybe the best way to treat these patients, along with medications for sure, but talking to someone, having the support group, and we have heard a lot about the support. Okay, the mic wasn't behaving itself just now, but nonetheless, so these support groups are very important, and having forums like these will definitely help persons to understand their situation better.
Okay, thank you. That was actually some really good insight. And the topic of medical usage was also mentioned. And Mr. Singh, you were a previous medical practitioner, correct? To an extent. Okay, so have you ever experienced that where people have had to turn to substances in order to get medical aid? And what was your experience with that, if you haven't?
Just clarify a little for me when you say substance.
For instance, regarding drugs or other forms of medication, were there cases of misuse or abuse or overdosing?
You mean pharmaceutical?
Pharmaceutical, correct.
Oh, certainly, yes. All right. Yeah, many people are going through various mental illnesses, and not just pharmaceutical, but they'll turn to illicit drugs as well. And most do get relief from the pharmaceutical drugs, but it's like a short circuit, because as you correctly said, therapy is what is actually important for you to get through from where the problem is to the solution. The medications are somewhat like a shortcut because it affects the brain chemicals directly, right? So some patients will overdose in a view to feel better, and some might do it in a view to, as I said previously, suicide as well.
Okay, well, Mr. Smith, as a psychologist, you might not be a therapist, but out of everyone on this panel, I think you may be one of the most similar in regards to the field. So I'd like to ask you a question in that regard as well. What do you think is the greatest challenge that you've had in your field?
You mean with men?
With men.
Okay. All right, so the issue, the narrative that society has created for our men, that it's not okay to express your emotion, to show emotion, to be vulnerable. Yeah? It's not manly to say I am going to a psychologist or a therapist, because society says man a lion, man tough, man a wall. Yeah, man. So you have to just keep it out and hold it out. So we have that narrative. Probably 98% of the cases that I get, even in intimate situations, the woman will reach out first. And she will say, the man said, me must go counseling because nothing wrong with him, I mean something wrong with. So me I come. But when the men do come to counseling, I have to commend them, especially the ones who reach out and say, I need help. I commend them. But what I realized too is that if I take the story of the female first, and the man knows, then he might come with the perception that I've already taken the side of the female. So I ask the female to come with the gentleman and let us talk, because our system as well at times have a bias towards women. So the man will come and think that the psychotherapist will take the side of the woman automatically, because he also compares the situation in our court system. Yeah? And so everybody who calls men in, will condemn them and judgment. So we have that barrier. But the greatest one is the stigma. Yeah? Man not supposed to cry. If you cry, you're a sissy. You're soft. You're jellyback. Yeah. And women partners do that too. So if the man becomes vulnerable and say, I am feeling sad, I am feeling disappointed, you say, you're not a real man. Nobody like you, right? But the stigma is real, and it prevents men from seeking therapy.
I see that a lot of the panelists became a bit animated with that discussion, so I'm opening it up. Does anyone have anything they want to add?
Trust me, it's a shared concern that is around as it relates to the perception of what a man should be and what it is and as such. Just to kind of add as well in relations to support systems that are in place that young men out there that can access as well. The Youth Innovation Center here in Manchester, 35 Wint Road, Mandeville, serves as a safe space in general for youths. And as such, they can come and make use of some of those key services. One such services that fits within this criteria is counseling and referral. So if we can't handle the situation at the center through with our social workers that we will have at the space or through the youth empowerment officer, we refer to other agencies that have the resources to give that critical support that is needed. So this is a space that you can recommend and refer persons to as well. And I'll share my contact as we continue the discussion, just to say it.
All right, thank you, Ricardo. And on that note, I've realized a major issue that's come up that I've also experienced. Many men in particular feel that when they want to come up and share these things, that they are going to be not treated fairly and that it will be used against them. So I'd like to discuss the idea of confidentiality in these services. Is it a case where if a man can come forth and speak that they can rest assured that their stories will not be disseminated? Or are there situations where, for the concerns of safety, that details might have to be shared to, like, say, law authorities? I want to know if that's critical, because a lot of times I've realized men want to come forward, but they fear that they'll either be judged and what they say will be spread and used against them.
All right, I can speak to that as well. So in a sense, as it relates to confidentiality, confidentiality is key. However, the only exception or grounds where that has to be breached is where if there is self-harm or if there's an intent to harm someone else. Those are the basis in which confidentiality is breached, and that is always shared in many of our professional settings in terms of counseling or therapy. The counselor or the therapist always shares that ahead of the conversation to ensure everybody is at the same space. But in general, men need circles that we can speak to. And the challenge and the reality of it is that we are taught to survive as men, not really how to process. So we're always in most instances in survival mode. We are not thought, oh, we can really process and deal with things properly.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Blake, on to you again. Now, as a police officer, I'm sure you have witnessed, or have you witnessed a clear correlation between criminal activities and male mental health issues? Like, when you go out in the community and patrol, have you seen that? Is there a clear link between individuals that might be more inclined to commit crimes and those males that are suffering from mental challenges?
All right, so let me just say it first. So I don't do the general policing where there's patrol and all of that. So I'm the assistant to the social media manager. So most of my stuff is media related. However, I have had the opportunity to work with like community safety and security branch and several stations, and I've seen that many of the persons committing crimes are persons who they were victims of that whole stigma and how men should behave, and that played a big part in shaping their character, because it gives us the societal concept of men gives us this thing that this notion that we should be tough and rough, and you know, like even in Jamaica, like a bad man or a gangster kind of vibe. That's how they try to portray for men to be, and this I feel like plays a major role in the men committing certain crimes and doing some stuff. And if you were to go in probably like a jail cell or a prison, you realize that a lot of these men have some mental illness that they don't know about, or they've suffered from depression or something mental related that they genuinely don't know, and they've had challenges with it, but instead of seeking help, they let it out in a different way, so through some drug abuse, which normally can cause them to influence them to do other things, or they go around bad company, because normally this gives you some temporary you know, like kind of satisfaction, or so it helps you to feel like you're healing from whatever the problem is. So I do think mental health plays a huge role in the person's committing crime, or the men committing crime at least.
All right, so I just added another spin to the entire discussion, in that, so we've been repeating the whole thing about men being tough and rough. Aren't men supposed to be tough and rough? Aren't men supposed to be tough and rough? However, I mean, when it comes to mental health, even though you're tough, a lot of these soldiers who go out to war and all of these things, you know, aren't they tough and rough? Bad man them? However, when they come back from war, they do experience mental health issues. But it's how do you deal with these mental health issues, even though you're tough and rough? Because no woman no want no weakling, no woman no want no man who softy. I'm just adding a spin to it, in that it's okay to be tough and rough, but when the mental health issue comes in, how do you deal with that issue? What do we have to help men who are tough and rough, but the soft side, because this is a softer side, but I'm just adding this, in that man supposed to be tough and rough, but mental health is a different aspect of being tough and rough. Right, and that's where we need to have the separation, in that when it comes to the way we think and the way we process, as was said earlier, that's where we should make the separation. But man, for tough and rough.
Can I say something? All right, so I think the toughness also has a mental aspect to play with it, because if you look at it from a biblical perspective, men are meant to be like leaders, or like the head of the household, and as a result of that, we have to be strong mentally, yes, but at the end of the day, we are human beings, and we have to understand as leaders, or you know, as that tough person, because sometimes when the woman feel soft, you have to be that strong one, but we have to understand that we're human and we do have breakdowns, and I think that's why God blessed us with nurturers, because them could have probably put I think two leaders can actually work together, you know, because to be a true leader, you have to know to follow somebody else. But instead, God kind of blessed us, not saying women can't lead, don't misinterpret me, I said, by the way, but God blessed us with natural nurturers, because in those moments of weakness that we have as leaders or as men, we have somebody to confide in. And we can be tough and rough out there to everybody, but we know that when we come where we have that specific person, that female or somebody, that we can just show that soft side, and when you do that and you start that from early, sometimes it prevents that mental illness from coming in. Because if you're raised to understand that, hey, when you feel like this, just go to someone and try to show that soft side and talk, maybe the mental illness wouldn't come into play in the first place.
Nicardo said he had something.
I just want to add something.
Okay.
As my good brother just said a while ago about, experience, showing the soft side, having a nurturer and so. Man, upon a whole, right? If a man is having any kind of issues like these, it's going to be less likely for them to go to a woman, because the woman is going to see him as a weakling. But just hold on, get the point. And we might say that's supposed to change, but it's not something you don't just change. It's not a light. It's not a switch. You don't switch things like that. It's not a light bulb, but it's every person, every man relates differently. And how do you treat each situation? Some men feel more comfortable coming to another man and saying it to them than going to a woman and saying it to them, because the woman. Don't get it wrong, Women also have that stigma. It's not only men alone have the stigma. Women also have that stigma too, because women will look at a man and say, if a man cry, the man will say, I'm weak. You understand me? Another man might look at it and say, yo, him can understand, he can relate. So it is multifaceted. It's not just one way. It is several ways in which a situation, mental health situation, can be treated. It's not just one way, so you shoulda. There's no shoulda. Every person treatment is different, and it's not one size fits all. Every person is different. Just as though you have several different medications to treat one condition, it's the same way when you're treating mental health. It's not one way to treat these situations, and it must be understood that each man has different, we relate differently, even though we're men, but we all relate differently.
So true. I'm in agreement as well. But I can say, as a country, we have come a far way than where we were, in essence. And we're seeing more and more where we're being somewhat recultured into accepting the fact that it is okay for a man to cry. It's okay for a man to express himself, and it is not perceived as him being weak or a jellyback or insufficient or not adding up to what we call or think that a man should be. So that's commendable, but still we have a long way to go. And we have to now interchange how we navigate, how we mentor our young men, how we engage with our young boys, because it starts there. So when them drop and them a cry, tapping eyes and man, nothing ball, that's the very same spot we're starting from. That's how you're culturing them to say that men must always just deal with things with silence. And we can speak. Look, for example, take a car. If you block up that muffler, what will happen? It will build up, and until that engine explodes. Now, that is what has happened in many instances with a lot of our men. And we see the different articles coming up. We see the different stories. We see the vicious things that happen when people bottle up things and they explode. We don't want to continue in that particular trend. And as such, as early as possible as we interact and engage with our boys, we must encourage them, reinforce them, and understand that it's okay to cry. As a male, it's okay to express yourself and to deal with things. And it doesn't make you a sissy. It doesn't make you less of a man, in a sense. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Singh, I want to come back to you because I realize I've been getting a lot of traction from this side. Yeah, I don't want y'all to feel left out. I'm an equal opportunity fighter. So on that note, in your field, I'm sure when you're a medical practitioner, you often have an experience or see where men often have to be a bit more sensitive and, you know, open up to them and their experiences. So when you've been working, have you experienced that? Have you seen men having to come forth and, you know, share and be a bit more vulnerable? And was that easy for them in your experience, or were they able to quickly find resources at where you work to, you know, express themselves in a good and capable manner?
All right. I have been seeing more males come into the office, and I think it's rightly saying the culture is gradually shifting and improving. So males are seeking more help now. I'm seeing that, and younger men are coming in from earlier as well. However, can I just put a little perspective on the whole thing as well?
Of course.
Right, thanks. All right, so like I said, there's a myriad of reasons why people are experiencing mental issues, and like they correctly said, it starts from childhood as well. But even before that, we have to remember that we're coming from a post-slavery society. All right? If you check anybody's history, you're not going further than maybe their great-grandparents. The history is cut off from there. Why? There were people, soldiers that defaulted from the army, people escaping famine. There's a lot of secrets and a lot of things occurring at that level. Ask anybody, you cannot find information beyond great-grandparents. That also leads to the lack of generational wealth as well. So that's why the men are in that economic pressure. The jobs available now are more inclined to females. So females are now getting more independent and, I don't want to say control, but they're very independent. So the men, the type of jobs that men enjoy, like physical, construction, woodwork, mechanic, the pay is not relative. These guys just sign some papers, talk to a few guys, and they make a lot of money, and the guys that are actually building the things are getting nothing, not even getting paid, right? So you have that economic pressure. Then the culture is so twisted. If you look at what's happening, these so-called rich men will just come, take our women, and go with them basically, right? So the men are there working real hard, women not appreciative. So that's another big issue that they go to, right? Then you have issues like various sexual abuse, right? And then with the mental illness too, it's even stratified. All right. For the lower class, right, you're going to find that they become more violent because this system is not working for them any at all. So they say, here what? They turn into scamming or violence. And that's why you see most of these people they are upset because of various things that they see. Then you have the religious part of it. Sometimes the religion not quite adding up and they're not getting the answers and the satisfaction that they want. A lot of the time, regardless of the reason, it's a lack of resolution that leads to mental illness. Trying to find a solution, cannot find it. Mental illness. Most of the guys that actually become mentally ill are actually the intelligent, caring ones. Because they don't want to go against the caring and become too cold. And they're so intelligent that they're trying to find a way and the resolution cannot occur. And then that's normally where they snap.
Well, you made an interesting point, and I want to get both of your opinions on it. Is it a case of nature or nurture? Is it because of our background growing up or where we're coming from? Or is it a case of the individual? Do you think mental health is a case? You mentioned slavery and the background that we have as a society. If that's the case, is it that we are destined to have this issue? Or is it a situation where in the now, what your experience as a child and as an adult, is it a case where you and what you went through caused you to have this issue? Or is it something going way back? What is the fault of the individual? What level of control does the individual have in their own fate?
No, it's a combination. Because there's no doubt environment affects you. I do see some people, and they're like gems, like regardless of the situation you put there in, they are going to excel. You have those people, I guess those are the born leaders. But then you have other people that the environment is going to determine their outcome. They need guidance, they need help, all right? Then you have to bear in mind, I know you might not believe in it, but astrologically, the month that you're born, it does affect your persona in some sense. So you'll find someone, when they get angry, they will go silent and retreat. You have a next person, when they get angry, they are going to blow up in your face. You have some people that are going to handle their conversations with silence, some that are just ready to confront you. you're going to have those that are easily balance the equation, right? So you have more people, you have some individuals that are more inclined to mental illness, and some will be more resilient.
All right, thank you. Mr. Smith, you have anything you'd like to add?
I want to go back. I don't believe that men must be told that they ought to be rough and tough. If I use deductive reasoning, I am not rough, I am not tough, and I'm a man. However, nature and nurture will have it that some persons are just tough like that. Yeah? Others are not. Now, remember your question you asked me. The next one, though.
Yeah, man, we'll just continue.
I want to kind of expand the issue of mental illness because that word in itself is also a taboo. Though some person might have mental illness, others have mental health challenges. So I don't want anybody to think that so at one point or another, any person will have a mental health challenge. So you might get depressed, and your depression might be mild, moderate, or severe. There are men who also suffer from adverse childhood experiences, and it forms who they become. Others also becomes a defense mechanism, yeah? But if you meet with them and you talk with them and you unfold the layers of what is happening, they might believe that it's all right in society to say, all right, because of how I'm treated, I must behave like this. I used to teach. I taught for 7 years at some schools. I moved like a cartwheel. I didn't stay too long at any particular school. But I saw boys at those schools who were the tough ones and the bullies. And you talk to them and you realize that they have issues. There's always a cause and effect. And when you're able to sit, and there's something called a crowd effect, you see? So that guy will be tough and rough because he gets the forward from his friends and cronies them. When you talk to him, he has issues. He has issues. What causes a man not to be able to say to his son, son, I love you? Or to his partner, honey, I love you. He has an issue with that. And sometimes you date it back, some things happen in his childhood, and you have to unravel that. But you have to give him the freedom to speak without judgment and just listen. And that is why psychotherapy is extremely important. Yeah? Because some persons want a safe space to be and to express themselves, having lived many years with judgment and criticism. I say one last thing, that JAMPSych, that is Jamaican Psychological Society, I'm leading a charge with men. So I have a men's mental health campaign, and it's for a year. And we start with webinars, but face-to-face is the second phase. But there's also a boys' mentorship program, because we have to start with this generation now and talk to our boys what it means to be a man, what it means to respect self and have esteem, those kind of things. But lastly, in these webinars, you'd be amazed that men carry certain things that they will speak at these webinars because they feel safe, to the point that I can't record them because they're too personal. What was the question again, sir?
You're on a roll, man. You're on a roll. It's better to let it flow naturally than to intervene. But Nicardo has something he wants to input as well.
Trust me, I'm enjoying my fellow panel member, what he's sharing and the level of content that is being dispersed. And as he had made mention in terms of the level of things that men share, because a lot of times persons may view it and say, oh, men don't speak, men don't talk up. But in the right spaces, we create the safe spaces, men speak and them talk. And I can testify to that. I serve in my church, as Church of God of Prophecy, Manchester, as the parish director for men's ministry, and also the regional director for Clarendon and Manchester. which has roughly about almost 60 churches in terms of with men's ministry. Some are not so active as such, but in essence, we have a program that we call Man Talk, which we did virtually during the pandemic, and then we moved it to physically in recent year. And trust me, in those spaces we have seen the men talking a lot of things. We have touched on some critical things, and the men are quite vocal. So the importance of it is that we create these safe spaces that they will feel comfortable to share, these safe circles.
Can I ask real quick, are
Yes.
these safe circles only all male havens? Are there any women involved?
No, the Man Talk is for the men
only.
So it's men only. And we tell all, even though they want to come, I don't know why, but, but we tell the sisters, no.
What they don't know
it is
can't harm them.
reserved for the men. We want our own spaces too. It is important that we have those safe spaces for ourselves and to navigate and just de-stress and to talk and to not just be out there walling up with stress, right? But we're letting it down and ease, and we're in a safe space where we can talk and rally and navigate that through. To add to the earlier conversation as relates to nature and nurture, that plays a critical role. But in essence, we have to view it more deeply too. Because the fact of the matter is that there is no good health without good mental health. And mental health is on a spectrum. You can be up today and down tomorrow. You can feel all right today and you feel depressed tomorrow. And the reality of it is men express differently. And as such, sometimes we don't even understand what's happening to the man that is right beside us. We don't understand. Even take for communication the instance. Men speak differently from women. We communicate differently from women. We speak and we get directly to the point in most instances. But ladies would speak around some of the things. Them kind of circle things around a little bit. And as such, the great disparity that is there, it doesn't create such a level ground, especially when men are facing with something and then to come out and share with a woman like that and such. Why? And this is why we have to have these safe spaces for men to come out. So even through your community, youth clubs, your community churches, create these spaces for engagement. Create these spaces that men can be there and that they can truly talk about how they're feeling, what they're dealing with, and have that kind of a support. Bring in the experts, bring in persons to have those one-on-one convo, because a lot of things will come out of that. And when you create that safe community, trust me, men will thrive. Because we don't want to see so much of the negative things that are out there. We want to see the positive aspect. We want to see, because guess what? Our men are great contributors to our society. And as such, we want to help them to process, not just to survive, but to process. Thank you.
I'm really glad that we're touching on support systems because it's something that was weighing on my mind as well. And I think we can really conclude in that matter that it is very vital for men to be able to gain support from their friends, their family, the various institutions that they can rely on, because no man is an island and no man stands alone, and we all need each other to improve and better ourselves so that we can help those around us. And with that, I think it's a good place to end this panel discussion, and I really want to thank all of our panelists here who played a very vital part. Oh, well, go ahead, of course. Although a little bit quick, please. Time is upon us.
I just want to be very quick with this one. As we keep mentioning about creating a safe space for men, right? When Jesus was on the earth, who him walk with? 12 men. Why? Why?
Well, he was also a man.
Why did he walk? So the support group that we have, so it's a support group. It's not because the reason for that is because he wanted men around him, because that's the support that he have. So as men, as rightfully say, that if you create a safe space for man, and men will thrive in that safe space. That's what will happen. And I do understand the entire thing about men not wanting to talk about, and it's because it's not that they don't want to talk, but it's because the space that they're in, they don't feel comfortable talking in that space. and they're going to be judged, and that is where the problem starts. So when a safe space is created, and also just to go back to mentioning it is okay for men to cry, don't force a man to cry. If he don't want to cry, don't make him cry. What is the shortest verse in the Bible? Jesus wept. Right? Just 2 words. You hear him talk about it again since that? No. So don't force the man to cry. If he don't want to cry, don't make him cry. You understand? When my grandmother died, I still think my grandmother is not dead. I didn't cry. But it's not that I don't want to cry, but don't force me to cry. I don't have to cry if I don't want. Crying doesn't mean that is a release. All right? It's not a release. It's just a feeling if you want to. That's what it is. So we should understand the fact that if a man is in a safe space, then he will talk. That is very important to understand.
All right. Thank you, and I want to thank our panelists again. I want to thank you, Mr. Miller, Mr. Smith, Mr. Blake, Mr. Singh, and Mr. Thomas. I want to thank all of you for taking the time to be here. And at this moment, we are going to have a special, an item by Mr. Mika Solomon, and then we'll come back with some audience questions and answers. Thank you.
Be performing a dub. My dub poem is originally written by me and it's called Pressure. And I would like the instrumental to be played. The pressure, pressure, pressure. Oh, what a pressure, pressure, pressure. I can't take the pressure, pressure, pressure. Oh, what a pressure. Sleepless nights, cola bite. I'm tired for pretend, send me. Alright, dark cloud just to follow me. Day and night. There's no glamour, there's no glitter. That's the truth. I bet the rose, I bet the McAfee, a mental you. The pressure, pressure, pressure. I can't take the pressure, pressure, pressure. Oh, what a pressure, pressure, pressure. I can't take the, can't take the pressure. Them say man for tough, for hard like stone, but walk one when the spirit feel and one when the night get loud and you can't find the rest. I will leap a war, it a one in my chest. From little boy days, them program the thing. Man up, stop ball, take it pan the chin so you build the walls, brick by brick till you lock out the well and get mentally ill. Pressure, pressure, pressure. I can't take the pressure, pressure, pressure. Oh, what a pressure, pressure, pressure. I can't take the, can't take the pressure. Them put me in a Bellevue, lock me in the cell. Nobody never care about my mental health, my torment. I can't find a help, but Lord God, are you want my strength? Young man, I call upon you because you're strong. Him not gonna leave, not forsake me. Some ya make you know him and the greatest. Men's what? Mental health and the stigma of seeking help. Men's what? Mental health and the stigma of seeking help. Pressure, pressure, pressure. I can't take the pressure, pressure, pressure. Oh, what a pressure, pressure, pressure. Can't take the, can't get the pressure. Thank you.
Can't take the pressure, pressure, pressure. Thank you so much, Miss Solomon. That light up the place, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Can't take the pressure. When we'll now conduct our Q&A segment, as our moderator mentioned, time is upon us, so I will just be asking 3 short but substantial questions for the audience. So, Miss, no raise your hand yet. You know, first question: who is the Ombre representative on the panel today? Yes, ma'am, in the back. All right, thank you very much. Second question: please remember your token, please, because we have a lot to give away. The second question: what is one of the best solutions for male mental health that is usually not pursued by men due to stigma? Your answer already, miss. Somebody else, please. All right. Thank you very much, Miss Daly. Remember your token. And the last question: who is the panelist who highlighted astrology as a valid standpoint in the context of mental health? I don't want to do that one. Come, your time now. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Please, everyone, remember on the tokens. Remember on the tokens. Thank you for participating. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You can now come up. Yes, please ask your question.
Sure. Thank you. I have two questions, maybe three. The first one is we're hearing a lot that we shouldn't, have these unrealistic, perhaps ingrained expectations that, man and man and so on. My question is how, because like Dan Thomas said, these things you don't just switch them off. So I want to know how, especially, so the real question is, what is the role of women then? How do we stop things say man and no man if them behave a certain way? And I really want you to tell us how, if you can think of, because we can't just say me I go stop things so. Right? How? You want to take it on? Okay, I have another question, but I'll wait. No, okay, the other question maybe you can take it on too. It's really about treatment after because I've have people who are mentally ill or who have mental illnesses and so on, and the treatment infrastructure and just your experience dealing with it and what people get in the government service or not and so on, and how people feel like the medicine I got just make them worse and it turn them in a zombie and all these things. I just want some comments on that.
All right. Thank you for your question. And just to kind of sum it up so we have a clear understanding of what we're speaking to. You're speaking of how can women, in essence, provide support to a man for him not to feel less than or, in essence, insufficient. So how to break that stigma. So in a sense, it starts with you and how you view. It's your perspective. So perspective has a lot to do with that. So it's basically your perspective on how you view. It's start looking now on a health or from a healthier side. In a sense, understand that if you see a man seeking help, there is nothing wrong with him. So that thought that would want to cross your mind is you stop it right there. There's a Jamaica stop, so you stop it right there. So yeah, stop it right there and just kill it right there. No further with it. Don't entertain those thoughts. Don't entertain those conversations when you are in certain groups. So it starts with you. You have to play that part and to help not only build the awareness, but to practice that as well. Socialization plays a part in that.
Yes, I remember the first time I saw my father cried. We were having a family crisis. It had to do with my two cousins, and it was just overwhelming. And I remember we had this meeting, and I remember my mother look at my father and say, Canard, it's okay to cry. If you're frustrated, we understand because you have been doing your best. And that was when I saw my father tears started to flow. That was the first time. And it was frightening. Yes. It was frightening for me. But my mother would go on to say, it's okay for him to cry because we are all humans and we don't know what to do about this situation. We're going to pray about it and see what God has in store. And that was when, at a young age, my whole concept of about a man crying, it just changes right there.
All right. Can I just tag on?
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
All right. All right. Women play a very important part in society, you know, and I don't think they realize. I don't think they realize how important it is, because in the earth, it's like the world comes to the woman, you know. Just being a woman, the world comes to you, right? You just need to step outside and you know the offers you get every day, right? Men not getting those offers, you know, right? So women, everything comes easy to her. If she wants anything, she just go out there and say she wants it, it's going to come. A man, if him stand up out there, I'm going to stand up out there until he goes mad, all right? So women, their words, and you guys know your words are powerful. You know how to cut. Your words can also heal tremendously, all right? So from the rearing of the children, right to the husband, when he has a hard day and he's trying his best and he comes in, yes, it's a little because of, like I say, it's a post-slavery society, and if you talk to some people, they'll tell you he's still in slavery, right? But when he comes home with the little that he has, you can't be saying to the man, like, it's not enough, and why you're not doing better, and him out there killing off himself in slavery, right? So these are things that you will have to consider, that you are very, let me tell you the flip side to it. Let the man come in and you say, honey, come see a nice plate of food here. I miss you. How was your day? Oh my God, love what you're doing, keep it up. That man, you will see that man grow leaps and bounds. But if every day he comes in, yaga, 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 my spirit broken. Spirit broken. A man live by spirit. A woman will go and put on some clothes and feel better instantly. Men are predominantly spiritual. If you lift them up with words and emotions and actions, then man is the power of the earth, you know. All these houses built and these things, everything that you're seeing is man build that, you know. Man build it for the woman. Woman want to be comfortable. Man want to be appreciated. All right. Now, the other part now with the institution, it's terrible. When people are going through mental illnesses, they're not going through it because, oh, they're just going through a mental illness. Either them depressed from them wife, depressed from not providing, depressed from many things, depressed from even religion sometimes. They're trying to find God and solutions and not finding it. They're frustrated. What the system do when they come in angry, which is true, which you have to try to prevent that. But when they do come in angry, they just inject them with something, knock them out, tie them down, lock them up in a little cell like a prison. These are people that are mentally ill. And then that's where the stigma come in, you know, because everybody they say that they're mad. Then the people them come around with the bus labeled and everything. You know you come get the injection, no, he's mad. The woman, everybody are going to look on him weird now. And then as if him never going through stuff already. You add that to it now. Crazy. You need, when people are going through mental illness, you need to carry them into nature, somewhere peaceful, feed them up, make them feel nice, take off some of the pressure. And when you relieve the pressure now, you give them the psychotherapy and you take your time, introduce them back into society. You know, lock them up and juke them up and make them get them medication. And it's true, them zombie out, you see them draining. After a while, them start get all kind of weird issues from the medication and thing. And it's true, them start wet them bed, them start have weird dreams. Even the same side effects, so they give you suicidal thoughts. The same thing that's trying to kill you, right? So you have to, it's really psychotherapy, like what they had mentioned. And like I said, it's not just, just to talk about it. They need real solutions. The economy need to be improved. People need to talk nicely to each other. Jamaicans have a way to talk to each other. It's mean for the most part. Ask any Jamaican, they may run any mean joke and say any mean thing. Ask them to say something good, them can't ever find it. Right?
Mr. Singh, I do apologize.
All right, okay.
I don't want to cut you off, even though the topic at hand is very important and you seem very energetic about it, as you should be, given the importance of it. But yeah, I do want to take more questions as time is going. Yes, young miss, please.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. So it's actually not a question. One of the first questions that Nathan would have asked, I think it's to Leson, is the different spaces that persons can use, right? If they're struggling and they need some help. So if you visit the site findahelpline.com, You can search for your location, Jamaica, and you can find some. And I'll share some numbers that I have saved, actually. And the first one is You Matter. So You Matter is a 24-hour counseling line that you can reach out to through the Ministry of Health and Wellness. And the number for anyone listening is 876-838-4897. That's 876-838-4897. And Safe Spot is specifically for teens and children, and they're also open 24/7. They have counselors and volunteers, and their number is 888-723-3776, and their website is safespotja.com. Let me see if there's another one that I have saved. So, for those of us who are of the Seventh-day Adventist faith and we're familiar with the Central Jamaica Conference SDAs, the Operation Save a Youth has a counseling hotline, and their number is 876-527-4486. And their other number is 876-233-9696.
Thank you very, 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 very much. I know that it is important to leave here with some kind of course.
So we have the mental health and suicide prevention helpline. That's now covered by the Ministry of Health. And the number is 188-639-5433. It's a 24-hour helpline as well. And those who work on it are trained psychologists.
All right, thank you very much. One more question from...
I almost didn't want to ask it, but I'm going to ask it. So I think, well, it's real for me at least. I think that we have a lot of men around us in our society that do not think they are affected by mental challenges. And when we find ourselves in this situation, gentlemen, how do we convince them? How do we make them aware that I think it's because of the fact too that because of all of this stigma, and we have this belief in Jamaica, if we're talking about mental challenges, then you're mad. It's not necessarily that. So with all of this, how do we convince a man, a brother, a husband, a father, a son, somebody that is affected who thinks, not do me good? How do we make them aware that, no, you're not good, there's actually something wrong and I want you to get help? How do we do that?
All right. So the question is asked, how do you convince them? The first thing I would say, don't try to convince that person, all right? Because the person should, if you're trying to convince a person, you're going to be forcing them to think that way. Each individual, if you're in a particular state, the first way you can get help is for you to admit how you're feeling or how you view a situation. If it is that you're going to be trying to convince a person that this is what is happening to them, then there's no way you will move from that position. You will always remain at the same position. What should be done is for us now to form, as we keep on saying over and over again, the support group that should be there for these persons. If there's a support group, then the person who's in that situation will automatically start realizing what their situation is. But if it is that we're going to try to force it upon someone, then that's where the issue is going to start happening and then that's where they're going to retreat from getting help and not trying to get help. So we have to be careful on how we try to force somebody, try to convince somebody that they're having a problem. We don't have to force them. What we can do is how we talk with the person and how we relate to the person. Then that will also help the person to realize that, listen, I need some kind of help. But don't try to force them to think that way. But just communicate, just talk. I mean, it's amazing how much comes out from just a simple discussion with somebody. And from having that discussion, then the person will realize, oh, somebody need to get some help, instead of trying to say, yo, you need to get help.
Mr. Singh, please, keep it short, keep it short.
All right. Sure. All right. So the solution is without even going to all these places, and you can do it immediately, right? Just like how you can train your body and it becomes stronger with time, your emotions can be trained as well. It's awareness. When you see you're getting angry, you're getting depressed, or whatever the situation, awareness, and you start processing it, and you start asking yourself, how can I respond differently and that? But the first step is awareness, and it can be controlled, and you have to just be diligent with it day by day, just like when you have to be diligent with your diet and exercise, all right? The mind can be trained just like a muscle.
Awesome. Now, I just have a question to the audience. Has anybody seen the videos by the Bellevue CEO? Building awareness, right? Thank you.
10 seconds and truthful to his word. All right, I'm going to get into the thanks and giving out of tokens to our panel members, but first I do want to give special thanks to many different people who also made this event possible. DCS Community Convo Executive Committee members, Coordinator, Miss Debbie Ann Daly Johnson, Miss Chevriana Crooks and the DCS, Chevrina, thank you very much, and the DCS Tech Team, DCS students and friends, Miss Kerry Furukawa, Maranta SDA Church for lending us the Maranatha, thank you. SDA Church for helping us with this space. And of course, Mayday High School and PTA and also a special thanks to OS decorators. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will now invite Miss Furukawa and Miss Daly to give out the tokens to our different panel members. And while that is happening, I will repeat the sponsors for today for one last time. Prestige Phone Accessories at Shop 70 in Mandeville Plaza. Live Call Ambulance Service, which is a Jamaica-wide service. Flaming Walk, which is at Sovereign Center, Mandeville. EX Shopping, which is at Orange Plaza, Caledonia Road, Mandeville. Mandeville Spa and Wellness Resort, which is located at Hatfield, Manchester. Irville Supermarket, which is located at 30 Manchester Road, Mandeville. Mid-Island Cesspool, which is located in New Wales, Manchester. Gateway Pharmacy, which is located at 3A Caledonia Road, Mandeville. 3T Restaurant, which is located at 17 Mandeville Plaza. DB Auto, and that is all. Thank you all very much while we give out our tokens. Panelists, please line up for your tokens.
Line up?
No. One more time for Mr. Singh, please. One more time. Please. Miss Dr. Singh. Now do we have more gift packet? All right, Dr. Singh again.
time.
My time.
Give it up for Mr. Paul Smith. Mr. Paul Smith. Dr. Paul Smith. Dr. Paul Smith. Mr. Dean Thomas, you're up next for token.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Mr. LaShawn Blake, you're up next.
Services, primarily home visits, but Caballero Medical Center in front of the hospital. Office, that's where I'm at most days.
Okay. Okay.
It as well explain the numbers.
Sure.
And last but certainly not least, Mr. Ricardo Miller. Is Tamika still here? Tamika Solomon, please come up for your token. That was a wonderful performance. You deserve something. Courtesy of Prestige Phones. Here you go. And also for Mrs. Ellis, are you still here? Also courtesy of Prestige Phones. Okay.
Thank you. I know it is time to say thanks to our host and our moderator, Akil and Nathan. Akil first. He's already taken it. Give Akil a round of applause for guiding us through today's program. Thank you. And where is Mr. Roper next? Just a moment. And okay, next we present our token to Mr. Nathan Roper for the panel discussion, moderating. Give him a round of applause.
Get it up again for Mr. Nathan Roper, please, and thank you. All right, the time is Oh yes, refreshment and networking. We have you here for a long time, so please get refreshed, please mingle, and ask your questions that were not able to be answered to our very accomplished specialists. I'm sure that they have all the answers for you. Now we now have the vote of thanks by Miss Tanya. Give it up for Miss Tanya Levy, please.
Thank you. All right. How's everybody doing? It was a good discussion, wasn't it? Yes. Are we empowered? Are we encouraged? Yes, indeed. Yes, I enjoyed it. I absolutely enjoyed it. And in many different ways, we have been saying thank you all afternoon, but we have to say it one last time, of course. So on behalf of the organizers, I extend sincere thanks to all who made today's Community Convo Town Hall meeting a success. And if you really do agree that it was a success, put your hands together. Thank you. So first, we want to say thank you to Northern Caribbean University and the Department of Communication Studies for hosting this impactful Week of Excellence 2026 event, and to all our collaborating partners for their support. Put your hands together, everyone. We say special appreciation to our host and moderator, again, Mr. Akil Vassell and Mr. Nathan Roper. Thank you for guiding us through such an engaging and meaningful discussion, gentlemen. We are deeply grateful, too, to our keynote speaker, Mr. Dane Thomas, and our distinguished panelists, Dr. Nicholas Singh, Mr. Ricardo Miller, Dr. Paul Smith, and Mr. Leson Blake. Thank you, gentlemen, for sharing your expertise and insight on men's mental health and the stigma surrounding seeking help. We also thank our sponsors and supporters whose contributions made this event possible, as well as the technical team for ensuring a smooth experience, both in person and online. Put your hands together for them, everyone. And of course, audience, we couldn't do it without you. So to our audience, whether you're sitting right here or you're online, we want to say thank you as well. We want to thank you for your presence. We want to thank you for your participation and your commitment to this important conversation. And may the discussions held here today inspire continued awareness, compassion, and action. Thank you all. Have a wonderful evening.